Good morning and Happy New Year to everyone. 2019 marks our 60th anniversary. I am happy to say that I have actually been with the Society for our 35th, our 40th, our 45th, our 50th, our 55, and now I'm marking our 60th. I know it's kind of amazing. I'm very young looking. Now stop laughing, Matt. On today's program, we will be hearing from Matthew Lincoln on some very great Google application. Matt has a practice outside Frederick and has been presenting for MSATP for many years. And actually, he presented on did a seminar on Google applications during our solo and small firm conference that we held in November. So everyone was so impressed with his presentation, we thought we'd have him come on this morning and do it for the whole group. But before we move to Matt, I want to address some really quick items. For many months, I've been talking about the student loan debt relief tax credit that everyone had to have their application in by September 15th. Well, during the holiday, Maryland Higher Education mailed out the certificates on those who awarded the credit. So you might be hearing from your clients about this because they probably got a letter in the mail saying, what is this? And so if you do get that, don't be surprised. And if you do have some questions about the letter, Maryland Higher Education can be reached at 410-767-3301 or by email. And I think we're going to be posting that email address up there in a minute. It's studentdebttaxcredit.mhec@maryland.gov. So like I said, don't be surprised just because your clients, if they actually put in the application for that, they probably got a letter over the holidays. Now also on January 7th, as you know, we do the Maryland Tax Update seminar 4 times in the fall. Well, we sold out all the webinars every time. So we've had a lot of requests to rebroadcast that webinar. And we're going to do that on Monday, January 7th from 1 to 3. Amazingly, we already have 40 people signed up, but we do have space. We can take up to 95 people. So if you would like to take and register for that, you can actually register online, and we're going to be posting that website up in shortly. Again, that's January 7th. That's Monday from 1 to 3. So if you missed the first couple webinars, this is going to be your final opportunity to attend. Sadly, we only have 3 more seminars left coming up for the year. Amazingly, it just went by so quick. So we have Frederick and Hunt Valley next week, which is the 1040 updates. And then we have Gaithersburg on January 16th, which is the federal tax update. So it's not too late to register. We still have space in all of them. So if you want to register, you can always go to www.msatp.org to get registered. Just real quick, I just want to explain what the difference is. The 1040 updates in Frederick and Hunt Valley really go in depth into the 1040 individual issues. The federal tax update, which is on January 16th, really gives you a down and dirty presentation on all the different tax things changed throughout the year. That goes from the states, the business, the corporations, the partnership, to individuals. So if you wanted something down and dirty, real quick, and all the different cases, legal cases that happened during the season, that's the seminar you want to attend. So that's the difference between the two. Now I'm going to bring in Matt. Good morning, Matt. Okay, let's see. Matt will be there. You are. There you are. Matt will be covering Google applications. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm really looking forward to hearing because I missed this at the solo, so I'm turning it right over to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sandy. So I appreciate the opportunity to present to members of the Society. As Sandy mentioned, I had the chance to talk at the Solo Conference, and it was interesting at the Solo Conference because while I was asked to present on Google Suite and Google products, I didn't really know what the membership already knew and what they wanted to hear. And most often, people either knew nothing about Google product suites at all, or they just had a little inkling. So I want to take a second and I want to tell everyone listening how we came to use Google products, what role they fill in our practice, and then kind of give you some highlights about what's in the Google product suite, what members can take advantage of, and does it cost them any money, and what are their alternatives. So let me kick it right off. For us, like a lot of practices, we use a CRM software to manage our client contact information, their documents, and that has a lot of great functionality, but that also has some limits. And so we kept finding that there were times where we wanted to manage maybe a list or where we wanted to have notes that everyone could interact with, and we didn't have a solution that met that needs. But we had started using Gmail as our office email platform back in the day. Most people know you can get a Gmail address for free. We used to have Patrice Lincoln's office at gmail.com, and that's how we started emailing with the world. We noticed in the course of using that email that there was this little button in the corner that said that there were these other apps. And we're like, well, what are these things? And so we noticed that Google had developed a list of apps. And we just kind of started using them as we had a need for something. We didn't like research it and intend to use it. We just found that it would fill in various gaps in our practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second. I'm going to go through the list of apps that there are in Google, and there's a lot of them. And then I'm going to show you some resources about, if you want to get going and start using these things, where can you start off? So to get going, the first thing that Google was known for was Gmail, which is a great emailing application. It was one of the first applications to group emails into conversations, which was really neat. But that was just the start. A lot of us are probably starting to see Google Calendar, which is the next app in the suite. That is very common with a lot of our vendors that we're starting to work with, whether it be Xero or Practice Ignition or whatever. They'll schedule time for meetings with us using things built on top of Google Calendars. And that's a free product that's integrated with Gmail. One of my favorite things about that is that if someone says that you have hey, do you want to meet tomorrow at 2:30, you can normally click that right in your email and add it to your calendar right out of your email. So that's kind of a nifty feature. On top of calendars is Google Drive, which is the hub for storing things on the cloud. So it's a cloud storage platform, keeping documents and files and PDFs and spreadsheets on the cloud. And then B, it's also a place where you can use the next group of Google's products, which is Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides, which is just a document editor, a spreadsheet software, and then a presentation software, all of which are basic, designed to work on the web, and easy to implement. On top of that is one that I think is probably, I'm positive is underutilized, and we're just starting to utilize it in our practice, is one called Google Forms, which is a way that you can send out quick surveys, could be a quiz, could be a questionnaire, could be like a light organizer to clients, or you can use that same form and post it on your website. So you could have a new client landing page on your website and utilize a Google form for clients to answer 5 or 6 questions. And when they're done with that form, you can have it automatically emailed to you, or you can have the contents of their answers pushed directly to a spreadsheet, so you can now see in one spreadsheet every answer you get out of that form. So that's really powerful. If you imagine a tax practice that is getting to extension time, and they want to get feedback from their clients about filing an extension, they could send them a Google form or post the form to their website. And every time a client fills out that form, it's going to automatically populate a spreadsheet where you can then go in and then add your notes and decide, okay, we're going to use the spreadsheet to track that we sent the extension or that we had more questions for the clients. So the neat thing about all of these things as we go through them is they're built on the cloud and they're built to work together. So you get a lot of basic components from which you can build a lot of interesting solutions to puzzles. Moving on from Google Forms, there's Google Draw, which is great for little flowcharts and stuff. Google Sites let me take a second and talk about Google Sites. So there's a lot of website builders out there, and I don't know that Google Sites is any better or worse than any of them. The interesting thing that we found about it is that you can build a website, excuse me, that's not accessible to the outside world, or a website that is accessible to the outside world. So the advantage is if you need to build a website for yourself, you can use Google Sites to do that. Maybe you need to build a website for inside your office, an intranet to contain information about office procedures or processes or notes or phone scripts. So you want anyone in your office to be able to access it, but it's not for the outside world. You can use Google Sites to build an intranet of information for inside your company. We've done that. We call it our Lincoln Tax Wiki. And it has become a hub of all kinds of information that we need to, touch from time to time, but we don't use every day. So that's become really powerful for us. It's easy to add a page. It's easy to search the pages. It's really something worth taking a look at.
That's really interesting, Matt. So how long have you been using the Sites one? I'm really interested in that. That's I didn't even know they had that.
So we started using Google Sites, I would say 2 years ago. We actually tried to build an intranet on our own, using some software that's freely available that's for hosting wikis or sites like that. And we didn't get the performance out of it, and we found that it wasn't easy for our staff to edit and add information. And so we're like, well, the whole purpose of this is for any staff member to add to our knowledge base very quickly. And so when we went to Google Sites, we found that that was a much easier thing to train our staff to use and to search and add content on. And again, the nice thing about Google Sites is that it's free and it's easy to approach. There are other commercial solutions out there for this. I think Slack is something which is designed to become like a knowledge base of your practice or whatever. So I don't want people to think that this is the best solution for that. But for us, it was an instantaneous free solution that it was easy to go with. We may move to a different solution today, but that's what I found about all of these products in the Google Suite, is that they allowed us to step in and try something and do something, see how it worked for us. In some cases, we learned what our real needs were, and we went and found a solution outside the Google Suite to meet those needs. And in other cases, we've been very happy working in it. So, excuse me. So Google Sites is a great example of that, where we haven't found a need to leave it yet, but maybe we will one day. We'll just have to.
You said that's free as well?
It is free. And I'm going to talk more about the difference between a paid subscription to Google Suites versus a free subscription. Okay,
great.
Okay. A couple more things before we get to that. Google Keep is a really nice, simple note software. I use this a lot when I'm at seminars. I'll open the little notepad. I can do it on my phone. I can do it on my tablet, and I'll make notes about different issues. And then people back at the office can live see me adding all those notes. Like I might be saying, hey, pull Michael Smith's file and put it on my desk. And they can just see that live as it's going on. And then when I get back from the conference, excuse me, I can pull up my notes and work on Michael Smith's file. So that's a really neat tool. Google Hangouts. So I need to pause for a second here. Google is trying to develop 2 tiers of products, one that's a consumer product and one that's a business class product. Hangouts is a free consumer product, which you can use like FaceTime to have a video chat with people. But they also have a business class product, Meet, which is designed that I could host a meeting with maybe multiple clients at a time and host my own, mini webinar or something like that for my clients. So maybe I want to talk to the husband and wife, but I have a lot of clients that aren't always in the same place. So I can each on their phone and we can have a three-way video conversation. So Google's doing a lot of innovation in this space. They're also designing and killing apps. So they had a product called Duo, but they're kind of going to get rid of it. So I think we're going to see Google Hangouts and Google Meet become these really easily integratable ways that we might be able to chat with our clients and even screen share with our clients.
Now, on those, does the client have to have a Gmail account to participate?
That's a really good question. And the answer is for Google Meet, no.
Okay.
Hangouts, I think they do have to establish at least a basic
Okay.
account, which the good thing is they're free. But Meets is designed as a business class product, and so they don't want there to be a barrier for your clients to interact with it. So they do not have to have a membership.
Okay, thank you. That's important. Yeah.
Okay. Last two, and the last one's the most important, but Google Plus. So Google Plus was originally trying to be Facebook. They were trying to get into that social media space or the social networking space, and they had some success. And in some areas of the world, it's a big platform. Didn't take off that way in the US. I've recently, in the course of reading through this, they're trying to turn Google Plus into more of a intergroup social networking. So maybe my office will have a Google Plus account, and we'll use it as the social media in the office to maybe have little messaging groups, maybe to post about birthdays to each other. So it's a social network, but in a smaller basis. I haven't used this yet. I haven't explored it, but I found some of the content I saw about where Google's pushing the product to be really interesting. So we'll see where the last one, and I think that this is absolutely essential, and I do want to bring up a page on this. It's part of the suite, and yet it's almost a standalone thing, and that's Google Business. Okay, so www.google.com/business. Okay, anybody who has a practice has to go to Google My Business and manage the profile of their business. So when you go to the page, you see that big Manage Now button talking to you about it. If you click on that, it's going to say, hey, well, tell us what your business is, because we probably already know it's on the internet. And let's determine if you're really the person that is in control of this business. Now, you want to do this because when someone goes to Google and they enter, say, Lincoln Tax, Google is going to provide a bunch of information that they think is correct about your business, not that they know is correct. So you can go in, say that it is your business. You go through a verification process so that not any Yahoo can take your business. And then you can control a lot of information that the public sees about you. When you're open, what your phone number is, what services you offer, what's your website, photos and content. You get to start being involved in the review process, which is something that I don't think you'd want to not be involved in. As you scroll through this page, there's links about how it works at the top. When you click on the how it works links, it has a couple different articles about what you can do with Google Business and what content is available. I think any business owner should go to this page, should take a half an hour and a cup of coffee and make their way through the various tabs. You see here talking about updating your business profile. If you scroll down, you'll see some more content here. Keeping your business profile up to date. They give you a lot of recommendations for what you should do. They show you the dashboard for the product. They talk about how you can use this to market. I think it's good for us as people who are guiding our clients in this digital age to maybe be talking about this with our clients that have businesses. How is it they can take control of the web presence of their business? Because Google's the largest search engine. And when people search it, the number one thing they're going to see is the information that Google has about your business. So this is a great resource. You should really take a look at that as you move along. All right, let me take a second now and step back and talk about in all of these suites of product, there's a free version of the product, and then there's a paid version. And why would you want one or the other? So our practice started with a free version. We had an email address. It was patricelincolnsoffice@gmail.com. So that's at Gmail means you're part of the free version. At some point in time, we realized after years of being on the free platform that I wanted to have separate email addresses for each person in my office. I wanted to be able to have at Lincoln Tax be our email addresses. And so we decided that the time was right to us to step up to a paid version, because with the paid version of the software, you get that hosting it under your web address, and you can have them host your email for multiple users. You also get some controls over document storage. You get 24/7 phone support with the paid version, which you do not get any real support. You get some internet only support with the free version. You get a lot more storage on a per account basis. And you get the ability to do some more syncing with Google and with Outlook. They have some more powerful search tools. So if you're using Outlook, the paid version allows you to get some better searching there. And so we stepped up to the version that was $5 per month per user. Okay. And I've got 8 people in my office that have accounts, so you can do the math. There is a more premium version than that. That's $10 per month per user. None of those features apply to most of the practices that I deal with. They're normally about the data retention and, storage policies for, searching documents and for legal searches and stuff like that. So look at that if that's something that you're concerned with. Maybe if you have a lot of larger practices or larger business clients, that's a concern for you. But for us, it wasn't a big deal. So all of these things you can use for free. You only have to step up to a paid version if you need more space or you want to use your own branding. Like for us, it was at lincolntax.com as we move forward. Okay, there's another resource I want to share with you, and then I know we're running short on time. There is something called Grow, Google Grow. Let's see here if we can get that brought up. So Google really in the last year has said, okay, we've been playing around making these suite of products and testing and using it with people. Now it's ready for the big time. This is ready for major companies and minor companies alike to use this suite. So they have been flushing out behind the scenes a huge tool set and education set to help businesses that would like to use this software learn how to use it. So at growwithgoogle.com, as you scroll through it, they have lots of resources for, number one, maybe you have kids or someone in your office that you want to become a certified Google professional. There's links to training and certification. As you scroll down even more, there are schools. All of my kids now have Google accounts through their schools, and they're learning all this at their school, so that they have a whole page designed for teachers because they want the next generation of workers to be using Google as their background. As you keep going, this next section is great and links to some of the stuff we've already talked about. Talks about local businesses, how do you integrate it, how do you build your website. You can see that in the middle with Grow My Business. Getting personal recommendations. I want to point out one here before we go on. Receive personal recommendations to make your website faster on mobile devices. This is really important. A lot of people build a website and then it doesn't behave very well on mobile. And yet most of your clients will access your website from a mobile device, whether it be a tablet or a cell phone. So Google has tools now to say, okay, how does your website look like on a mobile device? How fast does the page load? We tested this a little while ago, and Google anticipates because of our website loading speed that we will lose 24% of people that click on a link to our site because it didn't load fast enough. Some web pages lose as many as 50% of visitors because they're not patient enough for the load. So we're working on optimizing our website to get faster load times so that it's very mobile friendly. So that's a really powerful set of tools in there to look at. As you scroll through, they've got some other resources for people that are developing things and stuff like that. And down at the bottom is startups. This is also kind of in that business vein. How do you get going and doing launching your business on the web? So lots of resources to sit down and to walk through and to really see what is in this Google verse of stuff, whether you're using Google Apps or whether you just want to manage how the world sees you through Google. I think you have to take some time and get involved with in Google's product suite. With that, that's the snapshot version of all the stuff I wanted to talk today. Obviously, There's a lot more. There's one other item, which is the Learning Center. It's G Suite's Learning Center. We'll just pop that open real quick. But again, it is another resource where Google has organized by user type a bunch of help and information. So you can see at the top of the Learning Center, you can learn by product. So maybe you want to learn about Google Sites. And so you can just go there and learn about that. Maybe you want to learn about the spreadsheets. And you're like, hey, this idea of having a spreadsheet that I can use on my cell phone or that I can use on my desktop or on my tablet, how do I learn that? They've concentrated help articles in videos. I love the videos, all into one place here. So these products in Google are really working hard to get us and to get the next generation of consumers and small businesses to use their products, and they're designed, hopefully, to be easy to adopt. And that's what we found. We never intended to use Google. It just happened because it was easy to use. So it's been a neat process.
Well, I'll tell you, this is pretty amazing. I've learned a lot myself this morning. And I'm telling you, I've been keeping notes, as you can see my head going down. I've been writing things down as I go. And it's just really interesting, all the things that are out there, which don't even realize. Yeah. Let's face it, we all use Google, but we all just use Google to Google. We're not using Google as an actual business tool. So this is some great information. And I really want to appreciate you joining us this morning, Matt. And like I said, great information to share with everyone. Thank you so much.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I just want to close out our presentation today. Just a couple things. Don't forget that your 1099s are due by January 31st this year. That's to the IRS as well as to the recipient. We are going to be concluding our seminar season with a tax season kickoff program. The event is going to be January 17th at 5 o'clock here at our Columbia office. Come, relax, and network with your fellow members. This will be a great opportunity to talk with them and to learn from them and, to make those connections. And as a special bonus, we are going to have some shredding for free for all of our members. So clear out all those old files before tax season starts. That's probably what you did over the holidays. And bring them on over and we'll get it shredded for you. It's all for free. So come and join us. And again, it's January 17th at 5 o'clock p.m. We're going to have some snacks and some wine and, drinks. So come and join us. We would love to see you. Next week's program, we're going to be talking about the upcoming legislative session. Amazingly, the session starts on January 9th, which is just next week. So I think we're going to be seeing some interesting things coming up. So we're going to hear about them next week. So without further ado, I want to wish everyone a wonderful day. Be safe, and we'll see you next week.